Welcome back. We've had a dump of snow here in the last couple of days, and we're going to take you for a drive and give you some tips on driving safely in the snow and staying in control of your vehicle. First tip, windshield wipers and washer fluid. Make sure that you have good quality windshield wipers on your vehicle. Make sure that you have your windshield washer fluid topped up. Next tip, good quality tires on your vehicle, and I am not advocating winter tires. I'm advocating all-season tires that are in good nick. They have good tread on them, and they have either the M&S symbol, mud and snow, or they have the mountain snowflake symbol on them. Good tires with good tread are going to make all the difference for driving in the snow. Now, I'm sitting in a t-shirt in my car, but I have preheated my car because it's cold out. It is 25 degrees Fahrenheit, and we are driving in some deep snow. They have not had time to clear all the roadways or alleyways and whatnot. And I like driving when there's a bit of snow on the roadway because it's very quiet. You know, if I turn the heater off, it's very quiet. The snow insulates and gets rid of that road noise that you always hear when you're driving on dry pavement. And you always want to slow down back from where you actually want to get stopped. And then you want to creep up to where you want to get stopped. And you saw there I wasn't going very fast, and I didn't want to pull out in front of the plow. So I just got going, and now we're pulling out and to drive through the snowbank there. Now, it's going to be a little different for most of you because most of you are going to be driving around in automatic transmissions. I have a manual transmission in the old buggy here, and let me tell you, this 1998 Honda CR-V that I drive, what I affectionately call the buggy, is the best winter car I have ever driven. It has real-time four-wheel drive, which means that it's front-wheel drive most of the time, but when it detects wheel spin on the back, it will kick in the back drivetrain as well, so you've got basically all-wheel drive. And I have Michelin X-Ice winter tires on this, and they are excellent winter tires. I am not being endorsed by Michelin, but I absolutely love Michelin winter tires. Now, when are you going to get into trouble in the winter time? You're going to get into trouble on curves, corners, and turns. Going around a corner, you can see here that as soon as I go around the corner, it slides. And also, if I speed up here and I try to brake and I try to turn, it pretty much just goes straight. And the reason that it pretty much just goes straight is called understeering. The steer tires cannot do both steering and braking at the same time. So those in the winter time have to become separate actions. For more great information to become a safer, smarter driver, hit that thumbs up button and be sure to subscribe to the channel to become part of the smarter driver community. Okay, shoulder checking. Shoulder checking, I got a pedestrian here on the other side of the road. Lots of space and proceeding. And you can see if I go around the corner and I kick down on the throttle, it kicks out a little bit. It starts to lose control. So this is the reason when you go around a corner, you have to slow down before the corner. It's nice and slow here. And then come around the corner nice and easy at a slow speed. That way you're going to maintain control of your vehicle in the winter time and on other slippery conditions. You see that I've got the defrost. It's snowing out a little bit right now, so I'm getting water and whatnot on the windshield, so that's why you have to have good quality windshield wipers on your vehicle in the winter time. Actually, we're going to go this way. And you just stop at the edge of the road. There's no lines in the wintertime when the roads are snow covered. So this is another reason that I encourage you to take your driver's test in the wintertime, because there's no roads. You just have to stop at the edge of the road before entering the intersection and then proceed. Or if there's a sidewalk, as there is a sidewalk here, I believe, no sidewalk. So again, at the edge of the road. And if there's a snowbank and you can't see, then you'll have to move up, creep up until you can see. When the way is clear, then you can proceed. Now you can see I have a warning sign here that there's a stop sign ahead. The truck is braking in front of me. Now I'm going to start slowing down back here. There is some dry pavement here, but for the most part, I don't want to take any chances. There's a sidewalk here. I want to get stopped behind the sidewalk. I can't see the lines on the roadway. And then proceeding. checking again, and we proceed. Now, accelerating in a straight line, you're going to be just fine. You're not going to get into trouble doing that. It's the braking that's going to get you into trouble. The reason that you can accelerate, all cars in this day and age are all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, or 4x4. Okay, very few cars anymore are rear-wheel drive. They're almost gone the way of the dodo bird. There are a few, but for the most part, there aren't. So you're going to have lots of traction to get forward. Now, here I'm on hard pack. Okay, it's packed down, it's just ice and snow, and it's going to be icy at the intersection. So I just get my speed right down. Come to a stop and proceed. Shoulder checking. Your driving test. There's a great deal of anxiety and uncertainty about what's going to happen on test day. Pass your driver's test first time course package guarantees the information, skills, and abilities you need to pass your driver's test first time. As a bonus, we throw in both the winter and defensive driving smart courses to keep you safe and crash free after you get your license. Click the link up in the corner here, head over to the Smart Drive Test website. And just have fun bombing around in the wintertime. If there isn't anybody else around, you know, and you lose traction, then you're going to be just fine. Now, I had one smart driver asking me about losing control of their vehicle in the wintertime, going into a skid and steering like a crazy person. Just getting through the intersection there was a lot going on, and I'm going around a corner and you saw that it kind of slid there a little bit. I had some understeering going on. So what happens is the vehicle wants to continue to go straight instead of steering and going around the corner. So that's why curves, corners, and turns, you've got to get your speed down before you get there so that you can steer, because the vehicle will not brake and steer at the same time in the winter time. And again, lots of snow on the roadway here. It's going to push and pull you around a little bit, but don't get too excited about that. That car is going through the yellow light. We slow down back here and creep up, get our speed down. As you can see, we're doing like 12 miles an hour here. Okay. Edge of the intersection, back into a forward gear, and we wait. We're going to change lanes here. We're picking our spot where we want to turn because we want to turn into this mall here. I want to find a parking lot for you. I want to show you how to recover from a skid. Waiting to turn left, I've got my tires pointed straight in case I get rear-ended, then I'm not going to be driven into oncoming traffic, especially in the snow and ice here. And in the wintertime when there's snow on the road, the traffic is just going to be moving slower. Everybody is moving slower, so you just have to have more patience in the wintertime when you're driving around. Okay, meeting the gap. And you'll have to come off the throttle too when you get that steering. If you start losing steering and it starts to kick out, just take your foot off the throttle. It'll start to straighten around if you're not going too fast. Nice and slow in parking lots. And again, we're trying to steer, so we're not braking while we're steering. Okay, and this parking lot's been cleaned out, so this isn't really what I wanted, but we'll do what we can here. Okay, so if I kick loose here, see how I take my foot off the throttle? As soon as I take my foot off the throttle, it starts to catch traction and starts to slow down, and you're going to regain control of your vehicle. Now, this isn't very good because the parking lot's been cleaned and sanded, so I can't really lose control here. But when you go around a corner, if you go to the left and you start to lose traction, you've got to steer into the skid, is what most people are saying, which essentially you want to steer in the direction you want to go, which is down the road. So going around to the left, you're going to have to steer to the right, and then you may have to aggressively steer back the other way until you get the vehicle straightened out. But get your foot off the throttle, get your foot off the brake, and that's how you recover from a skid. The other piece about that is make sure that you wear your seatbelt. Your seatbelt is not just to protect you in the event of a crash. Your seatbelt is also to keep you in the driver's seat, because it's really hard to drive a vehicle if you're not sitting in the driver's seat. If you've got your butt and you're half over the console, you're not going to be able to drive the car. So keep your seatbelt on to keep yourself in the seat. The other piece is that The dead pedal, this flat piece down on the left side of the footwell, that is also to brace off. So if you get into trouble and you're working the steering wheel aggressively, you can post and push yourself back into the seat to keep control. It's adopted from racing, and that's what they use it for. When they're going around a corner and they're drifting, they're posting off that dead pedal to keep themselves in the seat and to keep control of their vehicle. And of course, people are always driving slow. I thought you bought a Jeep so you could go faster. There we go, there we go, there we go. Kicking it out. And that's what you got to do. Get your foot off the throttle and it'll start to straighten out. Again, situational awareness. And the little tractor that could is holding up traffic now, going up the hill. And I don't need to apply the brake here. I just take my foot off the throttle and slow down and keep my distance behind the vehicles here. And that's the other piece in the wintertime, is you need to keep that space in front of your vehicle. For whatever reason, drivers are going to insist on driving down the roadway in a lineup like a train. And whether they think they're in NASCAR or what it is, I don't know what the mentality of them driving in clusters is. But they insist on driving together, slow, bumper on bumper. Stay out of those lineups. Stay out of that train. You don't want to be part of that train, because if one car gets into trouble, they're all going to get into trouble. You want to have that big space, 3 to 4 second following distance in front of your vehicle. All right? And if you're taking your driver's test in the wintertime, check the video up in the corner here. That will show you specifically how to do your driving test in the wintertime and the reasons why your driver's test in the wintertime is going to be easier. Yes, it is easier to take your driver's test in the wintertime than it is in the summer. And also, see, I've got this space in front of me, this one vehicle length behind the pickup truck in front of me. And the way that I can tell that is I can see the tires of the truck making clear contact with the road surface. In other words, I can see the bottom of the tires on the roadway. I think the red pickup truck here is protecting a little snowplow that could, so we're gonna get out in the other lane here. And when you move from one lane to the other there, you can see the trench of snow kind of piled up there. The windrow of snow is a better description. Windrow, it's from farming. When you get into that, it's going to push you around a little bit, so you're going to have to be going slow enough that you have full steering ability to get from one lane to the other. Now, I can move up here a little bit because I'm not quite at the edge of the intersection. I don't want to be in the intersection, but I want the front end of my vehicle in line with the cross street here. Okay, and I'm going to meet the gap here, moving up. And again, I'm going to make a left here at the traffic light, shoulder checking. Okay, there's no cars coming. Get my gear before I go around, slow down, and then steer around the corner. Flashing lights and blaring sirens are not going on in the fire truck, so I don't have to give way to the fire truck. And these plows and whatnot, make sure that you give them plenty of room, especially if it's been snowing for a while. If you've had snow for 24 hours, know that some of those plow drivers are pretty tired because they've been working 18, 20 hours straight. So give them plenty of room and space. And see, when I come around the corner there and I step on the throttle, it starts to over accelerate and you get wheel spin. Just let your foot off the throttle and just reapply the throttle again, and that will help you to get traction. And again, we're using the hill here so we don't have to brake, and we're staying back one vehicle length from the student driver in front of us. Best time to learn is driving in the winter time. You have a much higher skill set. I know that it's really scary learning how to drive in the wintertime because there's a lot going on and the car is spinning around and losing traction and those types of things. But once summer comes, you will have a higher skill set than other people who did not learn to drive in the winter time. He's not going because the driving instructor told him not to go with the truck in front of him because he couldn't clear the intersection. And I'll show you how good the traction is on the old buggy here. The old buggy will just go right up Suicide Hill here, which is a very steep hill here in Vernon. Whoa, you gonna stop? And you got people like that who still think it's summertime and don't stop coming out to the intersection. The old buggy didn't even hesitate coming up that hill. I've seen people spun out on that hill in their pickup trucks and whatnot, even though they have 4x4, they're still having trouble getting up the hill. And this is the other piece driving in the residential areas, okay? If you're taking your driver's test, you're gonna have to signal over and get into the other lane and give lots of space between your vehicle and the pedestrian. Do not crowd the pedestrians. That is an automatic fail on a driver's test, and it is unsafe at any other time, because I'm a pedestrian and I hate it when cars get closer than 3 feet to me, or they cut off the corners here. In residential areas, they won't box the corner and they'll cut the corner off. I've had times as a pedestrian that I've had to jump into the snowbank to prevent getting hit by the car. So go slow in residential areas. I've had this question lots of times: how much slower can you go? Well, I can't really tell you that, but right now I can tell you right now I'm doing 30 kilometers an hour, which is about 18 miles an hour. I'm in a residential area. There are pedestrians around walking their dogs and whatnot. There's lots of snow and those types of things. So on a driver's test, you can go much slower in a residential area when it's snowing and conditions are not conducive to doing optimum posted speed limit, which is going to be, 30 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour, depending on where you are. Last point for driving in the wintertime on snow and ice. If you're coming down the roadway and you've got any speed up at all and you need to stop in a hurry and you hit the brakes, that grinding, that shuddering, that pushback on the pedal, that's your ABS brakes, and that is all completely normal. Any vehicle in the last 30 years they're all gonna have ABS brakes on them, anti-lock braking systems. Know that's gonna happen, and sometimes if it's really slippery at the intersection, your ABS is gonna kick in and you're not gonna get stopped in the same amount of distance, and it's gonna freak you out a little bit, because there's all that grinding and pushback from the ABS. One more time. And that's the car perfectly normal doing what it's supposed to be doing with the ABS in the wintertime. But just know that if you come up to an intersection and it's really slippery and you hit the brakes pretty hard, the ABS is going to kick in. And if you're not experienced with ABS, it's gonna scare the crap out of you. So nice and slow here, brake, stop before the sidewalk, check for pedestrians, check again, and then we proceed. Smart points to remember in the winter time. Stop back from where you actually want to stop and then creep up to where you want to stop. Manage space in front of your vehicle. I cannot stress that enough. 3 to 4 second following distance in the winter time, and stop 1 vehicle length back from the vehicle in front of you. That is critical. Stay out of those clusters. Stay out of those lines of trains where one car after another going slow down the roadway. Braking and steering are separate actions. Slow down early and then steer around the corner. If you're losing control because of too much acceleration or too much brake, get your foot off the brake, get your foot off the acceleration, and work to get control of the vehicle. Also, good tires on your vehicle, good tread, good nick, good windshield wipers, and washer fluid. All of those will keep you safe and allow you to drive through the wintertime without incident or ending up in the ditch. And remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Have a great day. Bye now. Have a great day, smart drivers. Bye now. Can you say bye? Bye. Bye. Love everybody.